I'd like to call to order the Senate for this week, or this month, excuse me. As you can probably tell, I'm over at West Campus, and we may have the provost come in a couple minutes. The traffic, as always, is pretty unpredictable getting over here. Let's start with the usual disclaimer, which is that if we lose picture, we will call the meeting for 10 minutes. And, speaking of which, there's the provost. Okay. We will call the meeting for 10 minutes while we try to reestablish the video. If we lose audio, then we'll have to call the meeting off completely. And again, I have a parliamentarian in Tempe who can tell me how this really works, but hopefully that won't be necessary. All right, let's start by doing sound checks. Can everybody hear me downtown?
Yes, we can hear you downtown.
How about Polly?
Yes. Right?
And I'm assuming Tempe can hear me, is that right?
Yes, we can hear you in Tempe.
Okay, that's great. First thing we need to do is to verify the clickers and the location. So if everybody would hit their clicker after Chuck puts up the name, and just indicate where you are by the right letter. Are we there, Chuck?
Just about, Arnie.
Okay.
A couple of people here at Tempe getting ready to click.
Okay.
Okay, looks like we got 80 votes, 81. I'm going to go ahead and close it, Arnie.
Okay. And then, as is traditional for entertainment value, we have a question everybody can respond to. So let's put that one up next, Chuck.
Hang on 1 second, Arnie. We just need to get the votes written down. And
okay.
you're good.
Okay, I hope everybody can see that. That's very much a functional question of my background, so see what you can do. Those of you who are country music fans will have no trouble. No disgusting,
Arnie,
folks.
We've got 82 votes. I'm going to go ahead and close it, okay?
Okay. How'd we do? There we go. Lots of knowledgeable people in the room. That's good. Sometime we can talk about driving one of those things, but let's not do that right now. Okay. We do have an informational report from Mr. Kevin Salcido, who's Vice President of Human Resources and our Chief Human Resource Officer. And he's going to talk about the optional retirement vendor changes and other issues. So, Kevin, would you please take the floor?
Yes, thank you very much for the invitation to speak this afternoon. We have a few items, benefits related, that's important that we kind of disseminate information now. One is we are making some fund lineup changes to our optional retirement plan. That's one of our 2 retirement programs. And the other is you may have received a note from us late last week about some changes to open enrollment, our benefits package as well. So I've invited our benefits director, Judy Cato, to come and join us and take us through these programs in some level of detail. And then if we have time, we'll answer any questions you might have. So, Judy?
Thank you. I'm glad to be able to come to talk to you today because you've likely already been receiving communication about some of these programs. So we're going to talk today about some of the retirement plan and benefits changes that you've been receiving information about here lately. As far as the retirement plan changes, periodically, as part of our responsibility as plan sponsors, we have to review the plans and take a look at them and make certain that we are providing the best fund options available for you. And we do that in conjunction with a company called CapTrust, and we hired them for that specific purpose. And so when we're talking about the plans that... Did I press something? Okay, gotcha. Okay, sorry about that. When we're talking about the ABOR sponsored plans, we're talking about the ORP, the optional retirement plan, and we're talking about the 403B plans. And when we do our review of these plans, we look at several things. One of the things is fund performance, how the fund is performing. Another one is fund diversity, whether or not we're offering various different kinds of funds. And another thing is the fees that each of the plans charge. And so those are the things that we review periodically as a part of our responsibilities for the plan. And after our review, our most recent review, we've come up with some changes that were recommended to us by CapTrust. And a lot of these changes we are implementing. So the first change is the fund lineup. We are making the fund lineup similar across the plans. Right now, there's different funds and different kinds of funds available in the plans, and sometimes you have to choose Fidelity or TIA to get a certain type of fund because it's not offered through all of the plans. So one of the things we're doing is aligning the plans so that there are similar funds across all of the plans, and when I say all of the plans, I mean the ORP and the 403B plans. The other thing we're doing is we selected plans with lower fees, so that is beneficial to you in that you'll be paying lower fees for the fund options that we've selected. The other thing is there'll be, we looked at our fund diversity and we'll be diversifying our funds across all of the plans. The final thing is that these funds that we have selected will have either similar or better past performance than what the funds are that we currently have. And I have to remind you that just because the past performance has been better doesn't necessarily guarantee that future performance will be. I have to throw that disclaimer in there. So in terms of what happens next, you'll be receiving a lot of communication. In fact, you should have already received a postcard in the mail that had a lovely picture of Gamage on the front of it, and it talked about the fact that we were going to be rolling out information regarding these changes. So soon you'll be receiving, sometime later on this week, we'll be mailing out another packet that has details about what's going to change and when it's going to change. And so in terms of what you need to do, we'll be offering meetings with Fidelity and TIA throughout probably the next 7 or 8 months or so. The first one will take place during our Benefits Expo, which will be on October the 26th in Memorial Union. We'll also be going around to the different campuses, and Fidelity and TIA will be doing presentations at all of the campuses. If you want to make changes based on what you've seen, what you read in our communication materials, you'll have the opportunity to do that. The new funds will be available starting in late October. So you'll see them if you go online, you'll see them in your account as available starting in late October. And if you wanted to make changes, you could start doing that then. If you do nothing, your current funds will map to a similar fund going forward, and that mapping will take place in March of 2018. So you have quite a bit of time between now and then before anything actually happens. And so after that, you would need to continue to monitor your funds along with your financial advisor to make certain that what you have and what you're invested in continues to meet your needs. In terms of regular benefits changes, each year, right before the open enrollment period, we review our benefits and make any changes and announce those changes during the open enrollment period. And the open enrollment period is a time when you can make any changes to your benefits without having a qualified life event or a qualified reason. And this year's open enrollment will take place October 30th through November 17th. And this year it's a little bit different because we are requiring all employees to go online and acknowledge and make changes to your benefits even if you are not making any changes. So everyone will need to go online. You'll need to review what you have and confirm your elections even if you are not making any changes. And any changes that you make during open enrollment and any changes that I'm talking about right now today will go into effect on January 1st of 2018. There will be several medical plan changes. There will be an increase to the rates that you pay, and that comes out of your paycheck in terms of your payroll deduction. And this is the first time we've had a rate increase since 2011. There will also be increases in the co-payments for the EPO and PPO plans, and this will be the first time that we've had those kinds of changes since 2009. There will also be changes in terms of how services are covered. Going forward, starting from January 1st, preventive services will be covered at 100%. That means no copay, no deductible, no anything. They'll be covered at 100%. And certain providers that were previously considered primary care providers will now be moved into the specialist category. And some of those providers are chiropractors, occupational therapists, physical therapists, respiratory therapists, and speech therapists. And all of the plan options in terms of the kinds of plans we offer, like the EPO, the PPO, and the high deductible plans, those will remain the same. All of the vendors will remain the same. And those things will remain the same. There'll just be some changes in the designs of the plans. There will be some changes in the pharmacy plan. The co-pays for both retail and mail order pharmacy will change, and those co-pays will be increased. For the dental plans, the TDA plan, that's the Total Dental Administrators Plan, which is our HMO-style, prepaid-style dental plan, that will be replaced by Cigna. The plan structure will remain the same in terms of there being co-pays rather than a deductible and co-insurance, but the provider will change from Cigna and TDA, which means that the providers covered under that plan will also change. There will be a decrease in the cost, the payroll deduction that comes out of your paycheck for those plans. The PPO dental plan, the vendor and the rates for that plan will remain the same. For the life insurance, and this is just a change in the life insurance that Arizona State University provides. It's not a change in the life insurance that's provided by the state. The Hartford plans are provided by the state, and currently the Aetna plan is provided by Arizona State University. So these changes apply only to the ASU provided plans. There'll be AD&D added to the basic life insurance coverage, and the basic life insurance coverage is provided 100% by ASU. You don't pay for that at all, but right now it's just term life insurance, but AD&D will be added going forward from January 1st. There will be a decrease in supplemental life insurance rates if you have that coverage, and that covers most of the age ranges. And for dependent life insurance, currently we bundle the spouse and the child life. So you make one election and you get coverage for your spouse and your children, even if you have no spouse or no child. But we will unbundle those elections going forward. And so at open enrollment, you'll see that you have to make a separate election for spouse coverage and a separate election for the coverage on your dependent children. So if you currently have dependent life insurance now, you have to make a change at open enrollment, or else you will no longer have that coverage. So what happens next? We sent out an email last week talking about these changes and providing more detailed information on the changes in copays and the changes in the rates that come out of your paycheck. We'll continue that type of communication. We will have benefits meetings. On October the 26th, we'll have a benefits expo in Memorial Union, and we will have all of our vendors there, including the retirement vendors, the medical plan vendors, the dental vendors, the life insurance vendors. All of our vendors will be there. So if you have any questions about any of the changes that are taking place, you have an opportunity to ask questions directly to those vendors then. We'll also be having presentations on the medical plans and providing more information about how those plans work and the differences between the three plans that we offer. So you have an opportunity to do that. And for those of you who can't make it here to the Tempe campus, we'll also be going around to the different campuses and have benefits meetings on those campuses as well. We won't have a full benefits expo at all of those sites, but we will be doing the presentations at all locations. During open enrollment, if you want to make any election changes, and even if you don't want to make changes, you still need to sign into the system, and you need to confirm your election choices for next year. If you don't go into the system and you don't confirm your choices, the coverage you have currently will not continue for next year. So it's really important that you go in and at least confirm your choices for next year. If you have a flexible spending account, every year you need to re-enroll in those, so you'll need to do that also this year. And you need to update your dependent life insurance coverage because that coverage will not roll over for next year because we're splitting between the spouse coverage and the child coverage, and you need to determine and let us know which of those coverages you need. And we always like to remind people to update your beneficiaries, and those are the people who get your life insurance. Should something happen to you or if something happens to your dependents, then you are automatically the beneficiary for the life insurance coverage. But we like to remind people to update those periodically. Some people do that when they first get here and never do it again, and we run into issues if something happens. So if you have any questions, and I don't know, do we have time for questions here? Okay. Does anyone have questions?
Yeah, we can have a few questions right now if anybody has them. And let us go ahead and go around the campuses to do that. Let me start over at Poly. Are there any questions at Poly?
Questions? We don't have questions.
Okay, great. Downtown?
Yeah, we have one question. Will they be coming downtown?
Yes.
Do you happen to know the date?
No, we haven't. The schedule. We'll be announcing the schedule once we've had it. Once we have it set up on each campus.
Thank you.
And here at West, any questions? I don't see any. So Tempe, are there questions at Tempe?
No questions from Tempe. Can you hear me? No questions from Tempe.
No questions? Okay. Well then, thank you very much. We appreciate the presentation and the information, and we'll look forward to getting the rest of it as you get it out.
All right, thank you.
Okay, the next item of business is the UAC Chairs Report, so let me make a few comments on that. In terms of the new faculty, we've been told, and we're pleased to report that there are 136 tenure and tenure track folks hired this year, and 68 non-tenure eligible people have been hired as well, new hires. There also have been 41 non-tenure eligible folks promoted, which is a 91% success rate. So it seems to me we're doing very well in terms of getting new folks in here. And that's always a good thing, I think. We have had the DACA support issue continue. We continue to be unwavering in our support of the DACA students, and that comes from the president on down. The students who need to renew registration are being assisted to do so. That registration has to be renewed by September 30th, I believe. October 5th. The provost is just saying that we have raised all the private money necessary for those re-registrations to happen, which is a pretty big achievement in my mind. We are also, through the foundation, exploring other possibilities to help them with tuition if, in fact, tuition has to be raised as a result of the various court cases that are out there. So I think that's well in train. I don't think we have an announcement from the foundation yet, but we will soon, I'm sure. I can tell you that we had an initial meeting of the academic integrity officers for the campuses, actually for every unit. That was on Wednesday, September 20th. And having sat in on that meeting, I can tell you that people were relieved that we're finally doing this. So that's a good thing. And speaking of which, our person of academic integrity has just entered the room. So it's a good thing. In a minute, we'll be ratifying Senate committee assignments. Then we will also, at that point, start to think about who's going to be in the online education task force, which will be starting this year. I hope the first committee meetings will get done in early to mid-October. depending on how this is going to work, pending, of course, the break and other issues. And finally, the ASU 2020 campaign is continuing to ramp up. I believe this year, and I'm looking at a number of people to be sure about this, but I believe this year we will actually be connected with the United Way as well through the 2020 campaign. So I think that's another opportunity for us to be able to participate pretty easily. So with that, are there any questions on the UAC Chairman's report? Let's start with downtown. Question?
No questions? No questions downtown.
Okay. West, anybody here? Yes, Alejandro? You'll need the microphone, I think.
So how can we tell? Okay. So how can we inform about the funds for DACA students?
If you have students that come to you and need support, then refer them either to Jennifer Hightower's office or to Kent Hopkins' office, or directly to me, and I'll deal with them. We have reached out to every single student who is here as a DACA student individually. So we have not left it to chance in terms of announcements or so forth. We have made individual contacts. And so we are doing everything we can to support them through their re-registration process.
Other questions here? Questions at Poly?
No questions from Poly.
Okay. Questions at Tempe?
No questions from Tempe.
Okay, great. Okay, the next item is new business, and I'd like to turn it over to Chris Kaselka to talk a little bit about the Senate Committee Chair, or the Senate Committee slate that she's put together. Chris?
It's not.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Arnie. In regards to ratification of the Senate committee slates, this is regarding the preference survey that senators were asked to fill out in a couple weeks ago to indicate which committees they would like to serve on. That process is complete. Thank you to all of the senators who responded to that survey. I believe we had about 60 responses, which is really good. So the slate was sent out last week, and these are the assignments for the 4 standing committees. And so those are being presented to the Senate today for vote. We are ratifying and having a ratification vote to have the Senate approve these new members of the Senate standing committees. Thank you.
Very good. Chuck, would you go ahead and, with this motion does not require a second because it's coming directly from the committee. So Chuck, would you go ahead and put up the ratification item? If everybody would vote.
Okay, Arnie, it looks like we have 98 responses, so I'll go ahead and close it if that sounds all right.
That would be great.
99 now. Last call.
Yeah, okay. Well, it looks like we have a slate that's been approved. For the folks who are against, come see me. We'll talk about it, but I think it's a done deal, all right? Thank you all. And I look forward to working with the committees. We also, as you know, have a couple of other specialized situations this year. One is the Research and Creative Activities Committee, which we staff together with OCED. And those nominees will be made very soon. And we also have the Online Task Force, which I hope to get together and confirm membership in a week or so. So thanks to everybody for that. Now I'd like to introduce Caroline Harrison, who will talk about the new CAPC motions.
Thank you, Arnie. So just as a reminder, since this is only the second meeting, this will be the first read on the items listed under new business. They will be presented to you here, then they will be taken up at the CAPC meeting this Thursday, and then they will come back to the Senate for a final vote at the next Senate meeting on the 30th. And at that point, you can have any questions. I do want to point out one of the proposals that are on this meeting's list, and that is the establishment of the undergraduate degree, the Bachelor's in International Public Health. I'm pointing that one out because that is our first PLUS Alliance proposal, and I just want to make sure you're aware of some of the things about that because it is kind of exciting, at least I think so, but I'm a curriculum nerd, so. It is being offered by the College of Health Solutions, and it includes courses not only offered at ASU, but also offered at the University of New South Wales. These courses have been thoroughly reviewed by both ASU faculty as well as faculty at New South Wales, and they have been approved for inclusion in the program. Basically, there's a term called pre-articulated, which means that the faculty have agreed in advance that they will accept these classes toward our degree. By the way, those courses are on the list of new course proposals that is before you today, and they have been created with a new form that details all of the information about these particular courses. Now, this is a purely online degree at this point, mainly because of the logistics of getting between continents. And the difficulty of on-ground students taking it. The courses associated with this degree that were put through on the PLUS Alliance form are only available to students who are enrolled in this degree. Okay? And again, if you have any questions, let me know, or your CAPC representative, preferably by 10 o'clock this Thursday so we can get anything answered. And certainly, if you can let me know well before the next Senate meeting, we can make sure that we answer any of your questions or concerns. So I will now present the first read of these proposals that will be discussed at the next CAPC meeting. The first is a request from the College of Health Solutions, School of the Science for the Science of Healthcare Delivery for the establishment of an undergraduate degree, BIPH, in International Public Health. A request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of Social Transformation for the establishment of a graduate certificate, Sexuality Studies. Request from the Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law Dean's Office for the establishment of a graduate certificate, Health Law Policy. Request from the Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law Dean's Office for the establishment of a graduate certificate, Law and Sustainability. And a request from the College of Public Service and Community Solutions, School of Community Resources and Development for the disestablishment of a graduate degree, MAS Sustainable Tourism.
Thank you, Caroline. Just to reemphasize, if you have concerns about any of these programs, please get them to Caroline or your CAPC representative before Thursday. I used to chair that committee, and if anything comes up, we'd like to get it done before the committee meets. Okay, under old business, we now have a consent agenda item for new courses. Those new courses have been posted, and I believe they're also attached to this. Yes, they are. So I will now take any concerns. Anybody have any objections to this consent agenda? Any courses that need to be pulled off? Let me start with West. Anybody here have a course they need to get pulled off? Okay, Polly, anybody there?
No courses taken out of.
Okay, Downtown?
We're good, thank you. No courses.
Thank you. And Tempe, is there anybody at Tempe with a concern?
We do have someone at the microphone.
Yes, I'd
Okay.
like to pull CHS 302, the Biostatistics for Public Health.
I couldn't exactly hear that. Can you say it?
CHS 302, Biostatistics for Public Health. I'm Eric Kostos from Mathematics.
Okay. That is now pulled off the consent agenda. At this point, Chuck, do we discuss now?
No, Arnie, let me remake a voting question. We'll vote on the remaining courses, and then you can discuss this 302.
Okay,
Just give me 1 second.
sure.
Okay, Arnie, I'm ready if you're ready to vote on the
Yeah,
consent.
so the consent agenda will now not include the course that has been pulled off, but we will vote on it.
I
So-
apologize. As you can see, the custom font is not working there, but it says, do you approve the new course proposal consent agenda minus course CHS 302? Okay, Arnie, we have 97 responses, so last call on the vote.
Yeah, I think we can close it. Okay, the consent agenda has been adopted. As for
95 yes, 0 no, 2 abstain.
Right. As for CHS 302, I would suggest we hold on that, not discuss it right now, take it offline, and we'll bring it back up after we've had a chance to have the 2 units involved discuss it. Is that adequate? Anybody have any concerns about that? At any campus?
I do just want to point out that that is one of the Plus Alliance courses. So that is, I don't know if that's something to be brought up.
Well, I'm sure that's part of the complication, but we'll all work on it and see what we can do.
Arnie,
Mm-hmm.
can we hear at least what is the concern?
Well, we can ask, sure. The CHS, with the person who brought that up, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. Eric, would you come back to the mic and tell us your concern very shortly? We won't settle it today, but we'll talk about it.
I know. This is Eric Kostos. I'm President's Professor of Mathematics. This is a course with no prerequisites, no co-requisites, no assumed knowledge. Quoting from the description, biostatistics is an introductory course to statistical methods used in the healthcare field. Learning objectives include things like probability distributions, constructing confidence intervals, t-tests, chi-square tests, and so on. I mean, that's all fine, except I can't see a difference between what's being proposed here in terms of learning objectives and the learning objectives in the AP statistics class that's offered in high schools for lower division credit. And I'd like to understand what the rationale is for having this as an upper division course. I have no objections if it was a 202 or a similar course. I don't see what makes it upper division.
Fair enough. And I think we can bring that up either at, how do you want, we can talk about that. And we'll facilitate that discussion. Okay? Okay. Now we have the CAPC consent agenda, which is at the program level. And again, Caroline will be coming back up to talk about that.
Okay, I'm presenting these items, these proposals, as a second read. After I read through them, I'll ask if there's any that would like further discussion. Otherwise, we will go ahead and vote on them. All of these have been passed at the last CAPC meeting. So starting with the request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of International Letters and Cultures, for the disestablishment of an undergraduate certificate, European Union Studies. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of Mathematical and Statistical Sciences, for the establishment of an undergraduate certificate, Analysis and Management of Insurance Risk. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of Geographical Sciences and Urban Planning, for the establishment of an undergraduate certificate, Atmospheric Sciences. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of Politics and Global Studies, for the establishment of an undergraduate certificate, Political Economy. Request from the College of Health Solutions, School of Nutrition and Health Promotion, for the establishment of an undergraduate certificate, Health and Wellness Coach. Request from the College of Nursing and Health Innovation for the name change of a graduate degree from MS in Science and Regulatory Safety to MS in Regulatory Science.
Very good. So once again, this is a consent agenda situation. Does anybody, well, let me go through the campuses and see if anyone wants to pull one of these programs off the consent agenda. Can we start at Poly, please?
No, we don't have any.
Okay. Downtown?
None downtown.
Okay. Tempe, anybody?
None at Tempe.
Okay, and West, anything here? We're good here. Then let's go ahead and vote.
Okay, Arnie, I'm going to close the vote.
Very good.
101 responses, 99 yes, 0 no, 2 abstain.
Well, as we often say, it's nice to have abstainers so we're not too monolithic. But anyway, here we go. We're good. So thank you all again for your attention to this. And this is one of the key things that the Senate does. So I really appreciate everybody working on that. Now, ordinarily, we would have committee reports, but since we don't have committees formed until today, I don't think that's quite a realistic idea. So let's go ahead and go directly to open forum, if we could. And with that, I'd like to start at West and see if anybody has anything for the good of the order. I haven't seen anything here at West, so okay. How about downtown?
None downtown, thank you.
Okay. Polly?
Nothing here.
Okay, thank you. And Tempe?
None at Tempe.
Well, we continue to set records for short meetings. Unless anybody else has anything, I'm going to call it. Thank you.